Hello again everyone, and once again thank you very much for clicking on one of my videos. Now this video is an outing one evening with me with the new 17 HMR that you can see there. Now I don't do many sort of nighttime shootings because half the enjoyment of being out for me is being able to look at the surroundings and being outside, being able to look at the countryside and across the fields and the wildlife and so on. And obviously when it's dark, you're avoid from all those sort of senses, etc. So I don't do a lot of nighttime shooting at all really, but in the UK at the moment obviously it gets dark very early in the evenings, and it's the only chance sometimes you get. And although it's certainly for rabbit shooting, it's much more productive in the dark times. Like I say, it's not so much enjoyable for myself to be shooting in the dark, I find. So this is my new Lithgow Arms 101 chambered in 17 HMR, and it's got the PAR 007A rear mounted scope add-on on the back of it, and it kind of works okay for nighttime shooting, as you'll see in the footage that's coming up now. So this is the first rabbit that pops out, and I've forgotten to actually chamber around, so I cycle the rifle now, and the rabbit hears that and scarpers right off back into the hedge, so I missed that one. So here's the first shot. Now I think this rabbit was at about 75 yards, between 70 and 80 yards, probably closer to 80 if I remember rightly. I did take all these shots a couple of weeks ago actually, and I've had them on the memory card for a while and just not got round to sort of processing the footage. But I line up on him, and you'll hear the safety click off in a moment. There goes the safety, and the shot's actually a little bit low I think, and he runs off for a sec. You'll see it now. There you go. He scarpers off, makes a run for a moment, but very quickly expires there. 17 HMR is a devastating round for rabbits, and so I found. So I have a quick scoot around, look around, make sure there's nothing else, and sit and wait for the next one. So this is the next one, at about the same sort of distance, a good 80 yards I think. And I take a quick shot with this one. And he's straight down, has a tiny little wiggle, but basically expires on the spot, and that's him done. So after waiting a little while longer again, another one pops out, a bit further away this one. I think if I remember right, this one's more like 90 yards, and I zoom into him to take the shot. Safety goes off. And try and settle myself for the shot. So there you go, good clean shot. I am taking body shots today, basically because it's night time. The vision through the scope isn't tremendous, So I think body shot, especially with the 17 HMR, perfectly viable, and as you can see, working out well. That rabbit has a little wiggle and expires dead on the spot again. Okay, here's the next shot coming up, but just bear in mind with all this footage that you're seeing here today, this is all filmed through the Power 007, and I'm just using the inbuilt illuminator that's provided with the Pard, and it's by far not the best illuminator you can get, but for what it is, it does actually work very, very well. And there are 3 intensity settings for the IR, and these are all taken with the highest sort of illumination, setting number 3. And I think the Power 007, for what it is an extremely good and capable piece of equipment, given that it's fairly cheap and rear mounted on the scope. It actually works very well, I think. Let me know what you think in the comments below, maybe. So this shot I think is at 100 yards. He's right up far against the hedge line. And I think the Pard for 100 yards is working pretty well. And there you go. It might not produce the absolute best sort of footage for uploading onto YouTube, etc. But it certainly, as a pest control device, it works exceedingly well for its cost and application and use. Now I was watching these 2 rabbits for a little while, and they were a little bit further away than I thought. I think they're about 110 yards, but they kept sort of slowly scooting towards me. So I was going to wait for them to get to 100 yards or less before I perhaps took a shot. But then this one, it sat up so invitingly, I thought I'd take a shot at him. So I try and steady myself as best I can. Get ready for the shot. And it was a miss. So I'll get ready again to take another shot. One of the scarpers away at the back there, but this one also decides he's not happy and goes for a run. But again, you can see the effectiveness of the Pard scope here. He's at a good 100 yards, or possibly a bit more, I think, this rabbit. And he just keeps moving and keeps going further and further away, so eventually I leave this one. But the footage of the Pard, if you can get it sort of focused in, etc., is quite acceptable, I think, for what it is. So after a while, here's the next one. You can just make out my laser rangefinder flashing away to the left hand side there. So checking the distance, and I think this one's was about 85 yards, certainly 80 to 90 yards away. I zoom in a little bit more so I can get comfortable with the shot. I'm sorry, a lot of these shots are quite wobbly. I'm just resting on top of my Primos trigger sticks. So get comfortable for the shot. And it's an instant lights out for that one. Spot on shot. And I zoom out in just a second at this point to take a quick look around, as I normally do, just before switching the part off, or certainly before I put it on standby, I have a quick sort of look around. And you can notice just round here a bit of eye shine, and there's a rabbit way off in the distance there. So I fire up the laser rangefinder again, just so I can get an idea of where that rabbit is. And you'll see the laser rangefinder start flashing away there on the left hand side slightly. And if I remember rightly, that's about 170 yards to that rabbit that's out there. So I'll leave that one well alone at the moment. And there might be that one that we revisit a bit later. Now this is the closest rabbit of the day. If I remember rightly with this one, it was only about 60 yards away, something like that. And you can see the pard, the effectiveness of the pard is much better obviously the closer you get. So a nice simple shot at 60 yards with the 17 HMR for that one. And it's instant lights out for that one. And I keep getting my fingers in the way of the IR illuminator as I go to change my focus there. So at this point it's got quite cold, and it's also started to drizzle. It's been drizzling a little while, so I'm thinking it's definitely time to go home. And I've got to walk this direction, and that rabbit is still out there at about 170 yards. It might have been 167 yards or something like that, I think. So I think I'll take a shot of that one just before I literally stand up, grab my kit and walk off back to the car. So normal, I steady myself for the first shot. And it's a light strike. So I recock the rifle. This ammunition, Hornady 17 HMR Vmax, is typically really good. That's the first light strike I've had from it. So I've recocked, try and find the rabbit again, and line up to take the shot. And it's a miss. But at that distance he doesn't seem to be too bothered. So I reload and get ready for another shot. This time it's a good shot and we get him. He does have a little bit of a wiggle around, but he certainly expires in just a second on that spot. And like I say, it's drizzling with rain now, it's got quite cold. So it's time to pack up and go and pick these rabbits up. So I'll leave you with a couple of pictures of some of the rabbits as I walk around and pick them up.